When a sex addict fears intimacy. That's our topic today. Now, if you've yet to subscribe, please do that. And if you have a question, go ahead and add it to the box. We'll get to it as soon as possible. Now, why would a sex addict fear intimacy? Well, because intimacy is different than sex, except if you're a sex addict, okay? If you're a sex addict, they may confuse the two and think that if you're having sex with me, we're intimate, because that's the way they've connected to the object world. That's the way they got their needs met during adolescence and young adulthood, is by going to fantasy or pornography and connecting in an object way, not giving of themselves, but receiving for themselves. And if sex seems very empty, it's probably because it's robbed of intimacy, because a sex addict isn't doing intimacy and sexuality. Now, they can fear intimacy for the simple reason that they've not been trained to do it, okay? We have several books. The book Intimacy, 100-Day Guide is a great book as far as just basically learning how to do intimacy. We share how to do the feelings exercise, the praises, prayer together, all that stuff. It's very helpful. Another book in emotional development is Emotional Fitness. Great book for anyone who needs to develop emotionally and gives the skills for intimacy. Okay, so a lack of skill is one reason why a sex addict would fear intimacy. Number two, a lack of experience, because they didn't grow up usually with intimacy. If they grew up in a family with addictions, their parents were children and they didn't know how to have adult intimacy either, okay? And if they got stuck, even if they had good parents, they got stuck, they weren't able to receive the intimacy, because as soon as they start their addiction, they block that from their life and their heart, okay? So those could be reasons. Another reason is called intimacy anorexia, because a large amount of sex addicts over time develop intimacy anorexia. It's one of the largest causes for intimacy anorexia. Intimacy anorexia is the active withholding of spiritual and emotional intimacy from your spouse. Everyone else loves Joe or Karen, okay? But when they come home, they're disconnected. They're on their phone, they're on their computer, they're out in the yard, they're fixing a car, they're, doing something with the kids. They're just avoiding you all the time. The characteristics of intimacy anorexia: they're too busy for you. They blame you. They withhold love. They withhold praise. They withhold spiritually. They withhold emotionally. They can withhold sex or be disconnected during sex, like we talked about. They're unwilling or able to share their feelings with you. They have anger or silence as a way to control you. They have ongoing criticism. Sometimes they control around money. But one thing is for sure, the spouse feels alone and feels like a roommate. Now, that's usually going to need professional help, and I would definitely, if that's the first time you've heard that term, we have several YouTubes on intimacy anorexia. Look at those, or go to intimacyanorexia.com, get information on that. That usually needs professional help. And if you're married and you're a man or a woman, we have Facebook groups for support, and we also have phone groups for support for that. So the fear of intimacy can be found in any one of those things. Another thing is sexual abuse. If they were sexually abused, 80% of sex addicts, male or female, have been sexually abused. So at the deepest level, they have been wounded. Now, if they've not talked about that and you're the spouse, ask them. Don't ask them if they've been sexually abused. Ask them this question: the first time you had a sex act, hand, oral, vaginal, anal, how old were you? Okay, how old was the other person? If there's more than a few years between those two people, it was sexual abuse. Okay, and even if it was peer related and it was pretty young, it was sexual abuse. And so they might have a distrust at a very innate level, okay? And it's possible that that has set them up even for a neurological fight or flight with intimacy. We have in our office neuromodulation, which can be helpful to reset a brain that's been traumatized back to fluidity. So that might be something to also check into. Now, these are some reasons why sex addicts are a fear of intimacy, but here's another one. You might find out what I'm doing. Okay, if you have a sex addiction, you usually have a secret. And the secret, it could be flirting, it could be masturbation, it could be pornography, it could be sex with others, it could be services, it could be Facebook relationships, it could be anything, okay? But if there's a secret, I'm not gonna want you too close to me, because you can find out what I'm actually doing, okay? And that is something you wanna address, okay? And that can be easily just dispelled. They can do a polygraph and verify there's no secrets, that they haven't done whatever the sexual addiction behavior is for X amount of time. We do those in intensives. Oftentimes couples request that. And you can always come and do intensive at Heart to Heart Counseling Center here in Colorado Springs, and the number's on your screen to do that. And These are reasons why sex addicts might fear intimacy with you. And so hopefully it's been helpful. If we can help you along the way to connect, all of what we mentioned is good. If they have a sexual addiction, The Final Freedom is a good book. If you want to upgrade your sex life, you can do Upgrade Your Sex Life. If you're a partner healing from his addiction, we have so many resources. You can go on the webpage or you can call. My office can help you kind of sift through what you feel like you need to start with. And we want you to have recovery, and we want you to have intimacy with your spouse. If you have yet to subscribe, please do, and hit the box there if you have a question. We care about you and hope to hear from you.